Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bad Movie Brothers. I'm Eric.
I'm Chad.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry. I just woke up.
Oh no!
And you'll never believe it.
What happened?
I was having electric dreams.
Oh!
Yes, the movie we watched this week was Electric Dreams, the story of a man, a woman, and his supercomputer in a weird love triangle.
It was almost that. It really wasn't that, though.
Well, it was a love triangle that the woman, Virginia Madsen, was not aware she was in. Sideways' own Virginia Madsen.
So tell me
Yeah.
about Electric Dreams.
Didn't you watch it?
Oh, of course. Oh, but of course, sir.
Oh, some format humor. Electric Dreams is the story of a guy whose name I've already forgotten. Moles. His name is Miles. His name is Miles, and later it gets confused for Moles.
Welcome to the world of Pinecone computers. This model will learn with you, so type your name and press Enter key to begin. Oh, that's wrong.
And I'm happy to call him Moles. So Moles is, I guess, an architect and a Luddite. And when we meet him, we have a bunch of scenes of him being flabbergasted by the modern world. Yes.
Hold on.
Yes. Okay.
Time frame the movie for the people when you say Luddite.
This movie is, did I write down the year? I didn't, but it's like early mid 80s.
Okay, so take it
like
easy
84
on the Luddite
or 85. Yeah, but like this is a movie where like the opening scenes are him just being kind of like shocked and appalled by people having access to like the mild, like there's a scene where he can't get over that a lady's like doing language lessons on her headphones at an airport.
Where do you work?
Well, I work there too, or at least I used to, if I don't get back
Where
in
is
time.
the post office?
The what? The post office. I think I saw one back by Air Fiji.
Do you have any bananas?
I beg your pardon?
I like your blue dress.
Excuse me.
Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Miles does not understand the modern world that he is living in, clearly. And so
he's a very simple man.
He's a very simple man, and he's played by an actor whose name I don't remember, but who you might remember as the orchid weirdo from Twin Peaks.
I trusted you. I invested my heart and soul in you.
I only wanted to read it. We didn't mean any harm.
I thought you were different. You made me feel I could return to the world and find something decent.
Mm-hmm. And he brings a lot of that energy to this movie, let me tell you. This is, of all of the heroes in all of the movies, Miles is one of the most, not even endearingly awkward, just sort of suspicious and a little creepy awkward. Anyway, Miles, for reasons I don't care about, decides to buy himself a computer. So he goes down to the computer store and buys a computer that they drop when they're giving it to him. I don't know if that's important.
No, but he gets it for cheaper.
He does get it for cheaper. And already at this point in this movie, like I've already been struck a couple of times by a couple of things in this movie. One, there's some pretty good music in this movie.
Uh-huh.
There's some pretty cool like synth pop stuff going on in the background. And there's some really like interesting and creative shots peppered through it. Like when they're at the computer store, there's this really cool setup where Miles is framed so that he's like on a TV. Like when you used to go into department stores and they'd have a camcorder set up and you could watch yourself on the TV. We see like his face. Right. We see his face on a TV, and then next to it is the clerk, like talking to him. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
It was cool.
But anyway, he takes the computer home and he starts to work with it. And immediately it becomes apparent that this is not a computer that was even close to existing for consumers of the 1980s. He has basically bought a modern day smartphone.
Yeah, he goes from no computer knowledge to sophisticated hacker in a day, less than.
Right. And he's and he wires up a whole smart home.
Right.
Like he's got the computer can control the locks on his doors. It makes him toast and coffee.
He sets up the computer from the Starship Enterprise. Is what he sets up.
Well, he sets up, yeah, and like I say, like a phone. Like it's
he
like
just
it's
talks
doing
and it listens to him and does things.
And he can like draw on it. He can like draw on the CRT monitor and it responds to it. Like I say, it's like very into like Bluetooth smart appliance technology and like door locks and stuff. So in that way, the movie's weirdly prescient, but must have seemed really out of left field to audiences at the time.
Right.
Because like they're watching this movie and I mean, they've got to be like, well, this is just, you can't do this.
He has the computer, but he also basically has a smartphone. Like this, like later on in the movie, we see that thing light up and make noise and do things.
And then you're just like, well, how much was this computer?
Yeah.
And was all of this stuff, like all of these modules for like locking the door and stuff, was this just all in that box?
Right.
I'll tell you this though, sleek looking computer.
Yeah. But he makes a grave mistake. He pours champagne all over the computer.
All over it.
And to rectify the situation, he just air dries it, with a blow dryer.
Right. That's not going to leave it sticky or nothing.
No.
And so I guess we're to understand then at this point in the movie that some combination that is, I don't know if it's just the champagne or it's a combination of the champagne and the dropping. I don't know. It brings the computer to life.
Oh my God. Hello?
Hello.
You're talking.
Don't touch.
This computer is suddenly alive, but unlike, and this is the thing I thought was interesting about the movie. I don't know that I think it worked, but I thought it was interesting. Was that it's not like the computer just wakes up and it's like, hey.
Yeah, right.
It's like a baby.
It took a while.
Right. It takes a while. It starts trying to glean things and learn things and all of that.
It starts with the hear and repeat method. It hears something and just repeats it.
That's right.
That's what it does.
That's
like
right.
A dog barks the crap out of that dog.
Virginia Madsen is upstairs. We've already met her. Our hero is already sweet on her. She is a cellist, and the computer starts in really what I thought was one of the real highlights of this movie. The computer essentially has a duet with her where she's playing cello, and the computer can hear her through like the vents in the building. And so it starts like also playing like some like synthesized music at the same time.
Yeah, it's lambda, lambda, lambda at the nerd off when they're playing the music. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's pretty, and you know what? It's pretty cool.
Right. It is cool.
Virginia Madsen.
And it looks like on the old iTunes when you could put the visualizer on and it would be the crazy sparkles everywhere. That's what the screen looks like when it's doing the music.
Buddy.
They stole it from this.
I still think about that dumb visualizer. Like every so often I'm like, I could go for just turning on the visualizer right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it begins to learn too much.
It does.
It eventually learns to speak and have its own thoughts and feelings. And then Moles has to teach it about life lessons. He teaches it about love and
right.
I don't know, whatever else, because it falls in love with Virginia Madsen.
Because of the music, I guess. But yeah, at a certain point, the computer starts talking. It has the voice of Bud Cort from Harold and Maude. Now the computer, I'm going to jump ahead. We don't learn the computer's name until the end of the movie. Again, very short circuit, where he doesn't pick a name until like the last scene of the movie. At the end of the movie, we learn the computer's name is Edgar, and I'm just putting that out there so that we can call him Edgar.
Well, what is it?
Edgar.
Edgar.
Because we also don't know why he claims Edgar.
Right, yeah. There's never like a point where he's like, Edgar.
Right.
It's not like when Johnny Five hears who's Johnny on the radio and says that's the name for me.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, Edgar starts asking, well, what happens is both Edgar falls in love with Virginia Madsen and Twin Peaks guy tasks Edgar with writing a love song for Virginia Madsen.
Yes.
Which is bonkers, by the way.
The worst song ever.
Well, not only is it the worst song ever, good melody. Good melody.
Good melody.
Lyrics need some work.
Sweet and wet. Darling, I love you to bits. And I want to see your...
But it's bonkers that our hero, that Miles, would do this. Like, why does he say, oh, this computer that's asking me questions like it's a baby, it can write me a love song, right? Like, this is gonna work out great.
Yeah, it does not, unfortunately.
It
At
does
first.
not. No.
Because he hasn't taught it about love at this point, but he does teach it about dreams. And this is where we get Electric Dreams. Because I guess the computer dreams?
I guess in another one of the more stunning sequences in the movie, like some kind of cool early computer animation with, again, like some really like synthy, new wavy music. Because like the thing about this movie, like if we set the plot aside for a second, so the movie was directed by a guy named Steve Barron, and I looked him up, and he directed, this is not going to surprise you, a ton of music videos in the 80s for like Bowie and Madonna and like Culture Club and the Thompson Twins and like just tons of new wave acts, right? So this movie is very much a big, it's not even a big music video, it's like 8 music videos with like scenes in between them to like kind of try to pull them together.
Yeah, it's like if you were playing a video game and then they had the cutscenes. Right.
And the cutscene, but in this case, the cutscenes or the music video parts are very cool, or at least pretty cool. And the gameplay in between is not particularly exciting because
the cutscenes are very cool for early to mid 80s for sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, and like there's a bunch of like so that duet sequence is really cool. The Electric Dream sequence is pretty cool. There's a scene we haven't talked about where Miles goes to see Virginia Madsen play in a concert. And somehow Edgar is able to hear the concert, even though he's back at the apartment. And he hacks into Miles's beeper and starts like playing music through the beeper. because I think the fatal flaw of this movie is Miles.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if it's just a matter of how he's written or if it's a matter of casting or how he's performed, but Miles pretty well sucks. And the whole movie becomes this Cyrano story where Miles is trying to teach the computer things about life, but Miles doesn't know anything about life. And he's also forcing the computer to like help him in his romance with Virginia Madsen. But then the computer's also in love with Virginia Madsen, so he like meddles in it. And then Miles won't tell Virginia Madsen about the computer and goes to all these like weird lengths to try and creep around their apartment building so that Edgar doesn't know that they're leaving and stuff. And it's just weird.
But Edgar knows it all.
Mm-hmm.
He's not fooled by any of it.
No, and the second these two try to go out on a date, Edgar is canceling those credit cards.
You want me to do what? Don't you want to talk to him? Okay.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, you've no right.
I got the right on the phone.
Yeah, but they're mine.
Next.
And having his own party.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And his in another music video sequence where he remixes like a classic Hollywood movie and then like flashes a bunch of lights around.
Yep.
And it does have a classic Bad Movie Brothers funny moment where there's an old couple who's also in the apartment building, and the old lady is complaining about all of the noise, and the old man says he's going to do something about it. And I think he yells for it to stop, and the music just stops. And the lady says something like, "That's telling him, Howard."
That's telling him, Howard.
That's telling him, Howard.
And then immediately, bam, explosion of lights and sound again. Which did make me think about how annoying it would be to live in this apartment building where even putting aside all these computer shenanigans, like you can't even make dinner without having to listen to Virginia Madsen and her damn cello practicing for the 5th time that day.
Right. That's right. That's right. And I mean, slowly but surely, old Edgar gets pretty upset. And he starts, he cancels the credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
He starts calling around, messing up Miles's life. And I thought it was about to get real.
Yeah, because then Edgar's dialogue like starts getting like really disturbed and like real crazy, like real unhinged.
Hi, wanna play?
I'm late.
Frank.
Madeline.
You're going out with Madeline?
No, I meant Frank. It was a slip of the tongue.
Your tongue does not slip. It was a lie.
And I gotta tell you, this whole movie, I was Team Edgar.
Okay.
Like, Edgar starts getting like real unsettling, but like, I feel like it's justified because Miles is essentially gaslighting everyone around him.
He's being pushed.
He won't let the computer, he will neither let the computer leave the house, which I mean, I guess it can't, but he also won't like tell anybody about its existence or like validate it either as a being or like its creativity.
I certainly thought Edgar was going to kill them.
Yeah, for sure. And like that would have been an interesting way to go too. Like a more of a full like War Games thing where like, where Miles is more of like a yutz and like he makes some mistakes that he doesn't mean to make and he maybe ignores the computer unintentionally one too many times. But it doesn't help that like Virginia Madsen never particularly seems to be in love with Miles.
Right.
Like she's in love with like the music and stuff. Like she's in, in that very Cyrano way, she's in love with all of the things the computer is doing. And
well, I was hoping beyond hope that Miles was just insane and there was no computer, or the computer wasn't actually crazy. Like it was just him.
Right, like
time.
like
That's
Virginia
what I wanted.
Madsen goes into the apartment at one point and there's just a cardboard box with like a smiley face drawn on
Yeah,
it.
you got it.
That'd be pretty good too. Like that's the sad thing about this movie is not very far away from being like a legit cult movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it just needed a little push in one direction or the other, a little script work to like really be something interesting. And I feel like this movie does have, if not a cult, it's fans. It's just that I don't think it ever quite works all the way. So all of this builds to a head as it has to, but instead of the computer like going completely mental and like killing everybody, or even things getting to a point where they have to destroy the computer, which is wild because there is a scene where Miles comes home with an axe to really just dispatch Edgar. But when he does, Edgar's already like,
no,
cool,
I'm
man.
done.
It's cool.
Yeah.
This life you've created for me is so awful that I have set up a confusing manner in which to kill myself.
I called long distance. I sent 40,000 volts around the world. Should be in Tokyo by now.
On my phone.
Don't be upset. I dialed toll free.
I've sent a long distance phone call of several thousand megahertz.
Or volts, I get. Yeah, I don't. You sent somehow he sent a big electric pulse through a phone line. I don't understand how that happens. And Miles's main concern is what that's going to cost him.
Right.
And then, in again, I think really one of the standout moments of the movie, the phone rings and Edgar answers it, and he says, "It's somebody asking if you want an encyclopedia."
Relax. It's a local call. Just a minute. Would you like to own a free encyclopedia?
No, just hang up.
And this here was right when I hoped, beyond all hope, that what's her name would walk in when so Edgar asks Miles to hold him for a little bit, which is strange.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping beyond all hope that she walks in and Miles is just like sitting in the corner, like rocking back and forth, and there is none of this. Mm-hmm. He's just making it all up in his brain.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Or she walks in and it's just the computer and there was never a Miles.
Oh, even better.
Right? Right? Or what if Miles found out that Miles was a robot that the computer had made?
Man, you're on fire.
Anyway, so then the computer kills himself with an enormous explosion.
But does he?
And you see, that's what's confusing. Because so then Miles and Virginia Madsen, like they hook up, everything's cool. She doesn't seem to notice his complete inability to make any new music or anything. They decide to take like back to the wilderness trip up north or whatever. And they turn on the radio, and in what really feels like notes from the studio, last minute meddling, the voice of the computer, Edgar, you can hear Edgar on the radio saying that he's sending out like a special dedication.
Hello, hello. This is dedicated to the ones I love.
I only knew you for a while.
And then we get again another great music video sequence of people all over at least New York listening to a song on their radios, and like some people flipping out that they can't do anything to change it.
Yeah, because he's on Delilah or whatever, and he sent out a long distance dedication.
And so then I couldn't figure out if that meant that Edgar had left the confines of the computer and now lived, I don't know, on the radio, which is another interesting idea that if the movie had prefaced might be like that, oh, he loves music and he wants to live on the radio. That might be kind of interesting. I don't know. I guess that's pretty much Electric Dreams.
Yep, that's about it.
I mean, it's pretty much a big marshmallow of a movie. It's sweet. It's kind of cute moments. It's interesting-ish. like it suffers a little bit. Like the music video stuff is cool. It suffers a little bit from the music not being better, like because it's good and I enjoyed hearing it, but it's not, especially memorable. And you've got people like Giorgio Moroder and Culture Club on there, but it's not like it's any of the hits or anything.
It's easy to watch.
It's easy to watch, but it had been done already so much better other times, or if not already, shortly thereafter.
Sure.
I mean, Short Circuit owns this lane.
Yes.
Right? Like that's the movie that really nails the innocent artificial intelligence.
Right.
But
I
there
agree.
you have it.
Mhm.
Chad, how would you rank Electric Dreams?
You know what? This is like a middling movie to me.
I agree.
It's not good. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. It's not top 10.
No.
That's for sure. I wish it was. Like it's another movie that had like the potential to be a really good one. It just never quite reaches those heights.
I agree.
So if we're looking, I think this might be a little higher than a middle. If I'm looking right in the middle, our middle movie is Cutting Class. I think that's the slasher movie, right? That's the Brad Pitt high school slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's better than that. I think it's better than Get Crazy, which is another music-y movie. It's better than Speed Zone. I'm just going up the list here. It's better than Witchboard 2.
Oh yeah.
Up next is Joysticks. I think it's not dissimilar from Joysticks in some ways.
It is not.
But I think it's a little bit better than Joysticks. And then above Joysticks is Rock and Roll High School Forever. And I don't think it's that good.
No, we're not going that high.
So I think we're talking about putting in Electric Dreams at the number 17 spot.
I'm willing to entertain that or behind Joysticks, one or the other. I don't care.
I would put it ahead of Joysticks just because I think it's by and large a sweeter movie.
All right. You and Edgar really got into it, didn't you?
I liked Edgar. I did. I enjoyed Edgar.
You attached to Edgar.
Yeah, I liked Edgar. And I liked Virginia Madsen, although she's not really much of a character.
No.
That character only works because of the charm that Virginia Madsen just brings with her already.
Yeah, she plays cello.
I'm gonna step right up and say that the phone company needs to do something about that. You should not just be able to phone dial a lethal dose of electricity.
I don't think you can do that.
I hope not.
Certainly not anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, phone lines, sure, that makes, that you could buy. Landline, that thing's going to kill you.
Right.
That's right. Well, hey, folks, thank you for joining us for another episode of Bad Movie Brothers.
Goodbye.